guys, we're back with some more chord hacks for you. In our last lesson, we looked at what is a chord, and now we're going to take a look at what is an inversion. So the world of chording is kind of magical in that I feel like there's no end to the possibilities and the ways that we can color the sounds that we're making when we're playing them. So we've identified kind of our big chords, the progression of chords that sound really complementary to each other, and this lesson, we're going to build on that a little bit. So in order to build on that, in order to add some interest to what we're playing, we're going to look at inversions. So some of you will know what those are, but for those of you that don't, an inversion is simply another ordering of the chord. So it's playing the notes of the chord, but we're changing the order, we're inverting them. So what that looks like is if we're playing a C chord, or we can also call it our 1 chord because C is our home base right now, we're going to play C, E, and G. Now, we don't have to play them in that order for them to be considered a C chord. We can take the C on the bottom and we can put it on the top, and it's a little bit fancy maneuvering with the hands, but what it looks like is this. My thumb is going to take over where my middle finger is, and I'm going to play the E next, then the G, and then the C. So we still have all 3 of the same notes, but we're just playing them in a different order. So what that does is it sounds a little bit different. It voices things differently. It highlights a different texture of the sound, or it highlights different harmonics in the sound. So I'm going to show you the next inversion because there's more. We can reorder this again. We're going to put the E on top. So our thumb is going to take over where that finger was. We're going to place our 3rd finger on C, and our 5 really nicely just kind of lands on the E. So this is what we'd call the 2nd inversion. And then if we shuffle them one more time by putting the G on top, we're going to land right back in root position where we started. So this is a C chord, this is a C chord, this is a C chord, we've got one here, we've got so many places that we can play these chords. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to play that one more time just in nice succession so you can see what's happening with my hand movements. And you can practice this at home. We can come back down the scale exactly the way that we came up. When I was taking piano lessons as a kid, it was hours of this stuff. So you can start slow and then you can build up in speed. It might look complicated, but I promise the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then again, not forgetting our left hand. He's going to take a turn. Down we go. So there you have C chord inversions. Now this is something that can be done on any chord that you play. So if you were playing the 5 chord or the G chord, you've got a root position, you've got the 1st inversion, you've got the 2nd inversion, you've got your root position again. Same thing goes for our minor 6th. Same thing with our 4th. And that kind of sounds fun when you put it all together. And then we can land right back on our root position or our home base of C. And that is inversions in a nutshell. So we can build from there. So what gets me really excited about inversions is that they allow us to move between our chords without having to dance our hand around so much. So we're used to going from our 1 chord here to our 5 chord here, and we're traveling. But what we can do is we can use these little chord inversions or shortcuts, hacks, to move between our chords, and it makes you feel super duper skilled and it makes you look awesome. So I'll show you how that happens. We're going to play C in its root position. I love starting on root position because I feel like it's easy. You go, hey, root position, I don't have to think about this. So our next chord in our chord progression is G. It's the 5. And all I have to do to get to G is remember that a G chord is built up of a G, a B, and a D. And if I look, this hand has already got a G. So I'm not going to move this finger. I'm going to use my 2 finger to switch out for my 3rd. I'm going to play this D. And my thumb's going to just step down. And oh my gosh, I've got a G chord. So I've gone from my root position C to an inverted G chord without having to move my hand at all. So practice this back and forth 100 times. No, I'm just kidding, but you can practice it as much as you like because this looks simple when I do it, but if you've never played this way before, it can be a complicated hand movement where we're moving notes, plus we're changing fingering. So take your time to get comfortable with this movement. So I would like to note that this is a movement between a root position 1 chord and an inverted 5 chord, and this is something that you can take to any 1 to 5 chord transition anywhere on the keyboard. So if I were to play an F chord in its root position, the 1, and I wanted to move to the 5, which is F, G, A, B, C, same exact movement. So really what's happening is we're just changing our shape. Our shape is going from here to here. So if you are a really busy person and you don't get to practice as much as you'd like, you know, when you're sitting at your desk, you can place your hand and just change those finger positions. And this is a little exercise, a little trick that you can use to develop some dexterity in your hands when you're away from the piano. So that is the movement between a 1 and a 5. To get to our next chord in the progression, which is the minor 6th, we're gonna just simply pick our hand up and move everybody over a step. So I'll show you again, I'll break it down. So here's our 1, our C chord. Here's our 5. Now to play the minor 6th, we need an A, a C, and an E. And we can find that, here's our C, here's our E, here's our A. So all we've had to do is simply step everybody up 1. So we freeze our hand position and we just move up a step. So I'll show you, here's our 1, here's our 5, here's our minor 6. Now this next one, to get to the 4, is super easy. We need an F, an A, and a C. And we've got the A and we've got the C, so we're gonna swap it out here for the F. And now we're playing an inverted F chord. So there are a few ways to look at this. You can look at this by breaking down the actual notes in each chord and thinking through, what notes do I need? How do I need to move my hand to most efficiently get there? Some of you might like that approach. You can think about it in terms of shape. Here's the root position shape. Here's a shape to get to the 5. Move the shape up. Switch like this. That's another way you can think about it. So for every person, there's a different way of learning, and it's going to be up to you to explore what works best for you. You can write down the names of the notes that you're going to be playing on a piece of paper if you're visual, or you can simply refer back to this video and get used to this progression. So there you have it. There are some chord hacks using inversions. We've looked at what is a chord, how to play a chord, what is root position, and what inversions look like. So now you get to explore, have fun, practice playing your inversions, and we'll see you next time for a unit on what to do with our left hand while chording.